So, before we jump into the video, all I wanted to say is why I made this video. And it's because I love watching anime and reading manga. And Coryxkenshin, my favorite YouTuber, made a manga. So I thought, why not? I'm gonna review it. But because my monologuing skills were so bad in this video, it turned out to be quite rough. And I think, in my opinion, after rewatching it, there may be some people that might misunderstand what I'm saying and what my actual opinion of the manga is. So I'm gonna set the things straight. So, my opinion of Monsters We Make is that the manga is for volume 1 very good. And I think it sets up a good base with the characters and with the villains and with the actual backstory of the city. I think sets up a great base to continue the story. Uh, I'm already stuttering. So, if you just wanted to hear that, you're welcome and goodbye. And if you want to be a masochist and continue watching this crappy version, then go ahead and enjoy. So, welcome back, guys, to a different video today. And this one is special because we're reviewing Coryxkenshin new manga. Now for the long answer where I'm gonna yap. So the first point I wanna talk about it's the art style. And the art style for me, some people said it's kind of basic. For me, I think it's very good and it peaks at the right moments. You can see that a lot of detail goes into the art when there's like an important moment or a fight scene. So I think the art style is very strong. I think it's solid and it shouldn't be a problem if he tells a good story. And which leads me to another point. It's story, and I think the story is really solid, and I think it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I think right now because it's only the first volume, I don't think there's enough time for Coryxkenshin and his team to flesh out the world, and that's why it feels like it feels like it's unfinished. That's what I'm saying. And I think the main reason why is because you kind of get shot into the world through the eyes of the main character. And you jumped into this world through the eyes of Jabari, the main character. And it's kind of slowly gets explained to you, like, why is there a fighter force, the world around you, the city. But there's not enough time to like truly talk about each subject. So a lot of subjects get touched on and then left, like the, let's say, villains or the monsters, like their origin is kind of explained, and then the actual monsters, their abilities, why they happen to be in this world, not doesn't get really explained. At least I think so. I'm not too sure. I'm a type of person that needs to reread it like 4 times before I catch every detail. So maybe it was explained, but for my first read, it wasn't. And now let's talk about the characters. The characters, they're pretty simple at the moment, except Jabari. I think Jabari, because he's the main character, has the most, let's say, development, as a character. Like he has emotions, he has kind of normal. Uh, he okay. Let me rephrase that. He ha- reacts to the situations kind of like normal people would do and stuff. Whereas the other characters like September, Han, Liam, and Alicent, they're you get jumped in and they're like, oh yeah, they're alpha team, they're one of the best, they basically never, none of them dies. And it's basically a team of prodigies by my understanding. And you kind of get through their first mission, get an explanation on each character a bit, but not much. So you can see that these characters aren't just 2D, like they do have emotions and they do have certain characteristics to them, and but they're not yet fleshed out. I do like the Jabari and Allison banter. It's a bit of a spoiler, but I do like their banter. It's kind of like a bit of a stress relief, like some just like for jokes, like them just going at each other. And yeah, I think that's kind of main points I want to go through. Um, Now let's move to the monsters. And their designs, I'm gonna talk about both of them because I think I shouldn't talk about them separately. So, monsters. I think their origin story is very great. Very great, yeah. Very good, very solid. That's like what I usually use for the story at the moment. Solid. Um, and yeah, I like their designs. I think they're quite horrifying or horrifying enough, if you want to say that. And I think the most interesting thing in this volume about them is, as I said, their origin story, because kind of, how to say this, they have this kind of human side development. It's kind of like, spoilers for Chainsaw Man, but in like Chainsaw Man you have these devils, and they originate through people who live on earth, their fears, and the stronger their fear, the stronger the devil. It's kind of similar to that. I'm gonna now do some spoilers, but in the Monsters We Make, kind of the title says says it all. Monsters we make, because the society makes people monsters. Uh, and one of the few characters, I'm probably in the editing gonna show you some pages that you can see as they're kind of like samples that you can read, so they're kind of public, so I should be able to show them. Uh, they're originated through hate and people just pushing them away and just not respecting them as people, and that massive hatred, probably agony, sadness, a lot of these negative emotions kind of create these monsters that then, that hate that they got held inside them, just they just lash out and kill everybody. And that's why you have the school, the academy of people to stop them. And I think that's like at the moment the strongest point about them, because there's not really much. Like, you have one, you could say two fights, but the second one's not really a fight. One fight, and through that fight it's more used as a vehicle for character development than developing what these monsters are. We don't even know what's their point of doing this. And okay, I think I could I'm gonna touch it a bit on this, because but there's not much I could explain about this. It's the power system. uh, the power system of the monsters, unknown. They could be just a different monster has a different type of weapon. So a different monster has a different type of attack. It could be that some kind of different hate would generate a different type of design in the monster and different type of weaponry. But I don't know. All I know is probably, even though I might have missed a detail where it fully explains it, but basically these, at least humans or the students of the school, get these power suits that make them stronger. And by making them stronger, not only they make themselves stronger, but it is the type of suit that the character has a strength to. Like, let's say Jabari, he's a, as you can see from his headsets, he's a musician, and because he's a musician, he probably has good ears and has probably good with sounds. So his suit is sound-based suit that uses sound as attacks, like, you know. And then you have a character like Allison, that's probably a brawler, was kind of fighting a lot, and she has a brawler suit, basically two arms that punch really, that have a lot of strength in them. And then September loves forest, loves nature, and her weapon, let's say suit, is kind of designed around that. And Han is, he's a Terhai. Pooh, Terhai. Wow, I cannot speak. Terhai. Okay, it seems it's impossible for me to say this, but whatever. So he is good with technology, and that's kind of where his suit goes in terms of strength. And then Liam, I may be stupid, but I don't think it's much touched on, because the hand is explaining to Jabari the suits and what they're doing, and he says doesn't really know what Liam's power is. So, but from the animation that Cory showed, I think it's something like looking ahead of what the opponent will throw, so being able to anticipate it and dodge everything and counterattack. Okay, that's kind of the main points. Ending notes, I think it's a solid manga, and if you're a fan of Coryxkenshin, I think you should pick it up. And of course, you have the money. That's the main thing, and that's without question. I meant it. And if you're not a fan of Coryxkenshin, but just because of how popular it is, you kind of seen it. I think you should try it. I don't think it's hard for me to say because even though it's a review, I'm not really a person that you should be listening to. I'm just more talking about my opinion of it. And in my opinion, I think it's at minimum solid or at best good. And if you like the art style, if you like what Coryxkenshin said, or maybe if you're a psycho and you're listening still to me, like what I said, you could pick it up. I think it's not that expensive and support it because I think at the moment it has a very solid base that volume 1 provided, and I think it can go into direction that is very good. Of course, as any book, it can go in the direction that is bad and it's not good, but at the moment I think it's very good. So, uh, final notes. Thank you so much for watching. That's not the final notes, but that shows that this is the first time, and this is not the first take, by the way. So we'll see what the editing magic can do with this absolutely horrible video. But you need to start somewhere in these reviews. So this is my first review. Hopefully there will be more. And I see you in the next one. Peace.